Hello there, and welcome to this training in self-hypnosis. I'm Marshall Sylver, and in this video, I'm going to teach you how to put yourself into trance, and also how to structure self-hypnotic suggestions for maximum impact. Before we begin, I want to say thank you again for allowing me to be the person who allows you to get more in your life. More money, more love, and more power. Get ready, get set, and we begin. In this session, I'm going to do a number of things. First of all, I'm going to remove all your myths about hypnosis. I'm also going to teach you what hypnosis really is, as well as how to respond to hypnotic suggestions. I'm also going to give you my personal strategies for creating the most effective hypnotic suggestions ever created. To begin with, get comfortable and be sure that you won't be disturbed for at least the first 20 minutes of this lesson. As you're learning the techniques of hypnosis and all the suggestions, you may want to stop me from time to time and then back me up so you can gain the full impact of our lesson together. You have many resources at your command, most of which you already use in some way. During our time together, you'll learn how to relax and let your life happen on purpose. You'll also learn how to become more powerful, and power is for use. Hypnosis is an extraordinary state of mental, physical, and psychological relaxation. In this relaxed state, you're most responsive to suggestions. Hypnosis is also something absolutely anybody can use. It's not magic, and it's not against anybody's religion. It's simply a way of creating new responses for your mind and body. Most people don't realize that they're responding to self-imposed trance suggestions every day. If you vote, or if you watch television commercials, chances are self-hypnosis and hypnotic techniques have been used on you. Let me give you another example. If you're the kind of a person who has a tough time getting up in the morning, you actually have to give yourself a suggestion to make this difficult. I mean, how difficult is it to hoist yourself up, swing your legs over the side of the bed, and simply stand up? Now, the majority of us are fortunate enough that we have that physical ability to do this. To make it difficult, you've got to convince yourself mentally that getting out of bed is difficult, or you wouldn't stop yourself from doing so. You wouldn't hit that sleep alarm just 5 more times to get half an hour more sleep. When you've convinced yourself that it's hard to get up, or that it's difficult to stop smoking or lose weight, or anything else, you've done exactly what hypnosis is. What's neat is, if you can do this, you've got what it takes to make a great hypnotic subject. You've learned to non-critically accept suggestions. Hypnosis is a process of responding to what I call mind triggers. To understand it completely, you need to understand that you have 2 minds. You have a conscious mind and a subconscious mind. Your conscious mind is what we call the critical factor. It's the mind that's listening to me right now, and it's determining whether the information I'm giving to you is appropriate for you or not. Your subconscious mind, on the other hand, is just a computer. It's non-critical. It doesn't know how to make judgment. When you learn how to non-critically accept suggestions and become more powerful, you've learned the elements of self-hypnosis. When you learn to non-critically accept suggestions, you become more powerful. When you've learned the elements of hypnosis and you've learned to set aside that critical factor, you'll use hypnosis in your life and learn to create a more powerful existence. Here's a great way to learn about non-critically accepting suggestions. What I want you to do is to find yourself a piece of string or yarn between 12 and 18 inches long. Once you've done that, tie that piece of string or yarn to a weight, such as a finger ring or a set of keys or a similar object. Stop me right now while you take care of that. And when you've improvised your homemade pendulum and you're ready to continue, we'll go on. For now, just put me on pause, go find the weight and the piece of string, and we'll start again. Welcome back. Hold the end of your pendulum like this. Place one hand beneath the pendulum so it's about an inch away. Look directly at the weight on the end of the string and imagine. Visualize. In your mind's eye, see the pendulum begin to move back and forth. Visualize. Imagine the motion back and forth, back and forth. The more you visualize it, the more you use your imagination, the more the pendulum will move. Allow your mind and eyes to trace that path that you desire the pendulum to move. And as you concentrate, the pendulum will indeed begin to move back and forth. In fact, the more you concentrate, the more it swings back and forth. That's fine. You're doing perfectly. Stop your pendulum right now, no matter how much it's moving. What I want you to do now is to begin concentrating on moving the pendulum in a circle. Again, look directly at the pendulum and see it, visualize it. Moving in a circle now. Visualize the circle spinning and turning and rotating. Concentrate. Imagine. See the circle getting larger and larger and larger. The more you concentrate, the more the pendulum will move. That's fine. You're doing perfectly. Stop the pendulum now, and let's talk about what causes the pendulum to move. You should be able to produce the same results at home as I am right here in the studio by simply understanding that what causes the pendulum to move is a simple process. What you expect, you tend to realize, and what you believe is true. As long as you believe the pendulum will move, and you concentrate, you have visualized the direction you want it to move, there's nothing you can do, say, or think that will stop your arm from moving. We call that psychosomatic movement. The pendulum moves psychosomatically. What psychosomatically means is psycho the mind and soma the body. Your mind will cause your arm to move just enough to produce that movement in the pendulum. Your mind always moves in the direction of its dominant thoughts. And as long as you truly believe the pendulum will move, it will. Practice this again. Practice moving the pendulum once again and get effective in attaining the same movement that I'm doing right now. When you've done that, we'll continue. For the moment, simply practice. And once again, put me on pause. I won't mind, and we'll continue. You're doing great. Set your pendulum down right now, and we'll go on with the lesson. As I work with another subject here in the studio to teach you how to respond more fully, do exactly as we do here. Hello there. Say your name.
Cher.
Hello, Cher. Welcome. Cher, and you at home, I'd like you to sit back in your chair in a comfortable position. Put your feet flat on the floor. You do the same. Put your hands down in your lap. In a moment, I'm going to begin relaxing you. As I do, there'll never be a time when you won't be able to hear the sounds in the room about you. You'll always be able to hear the sounds in the room, and any sound you hear will allow you to concentrate more fully on the sound of my voice. Breathe in deeply. And now just breathe out. Breathe in a deep relaxation and breathe out all your anxiety. Continue breathing deeply until I tell you otherwise. In a moment, I'm going to tell you to begin concentrating on one of your hands. And as you do, you become aware of many things. You'll become aware of a peaceful sensation going through your body. As you begin concentrating on that hand will begin to feel light and relaxed. In fact, the more you concentrate, the lighter that hand will seem until it begins rising and lifting and rising further and further up. The more you concentrate, the further that hand will move, as if there were a giant bouquet of helium balloons attached to your wrist. Breathe in deeply. And now close your eyes. Close your eyelids down now and allow them to remain closed until I tell you to open them. You'll always be able to open your eyes unless I give you a direct suggestion otherwise, and I don't intend to do so. Allow your eyelids to remain closed, as hypnosis is a state of mind, not a state of eyelids. As you allow your eyelids to now remain closed, begin concentrating on your hand. As you concentrate on one of your hands and your eyelids remain closed, you become aware of many things. You become aware of a peaceful sensation going through your body. And as you begin concentrating, you become aware of your calm and easy breathing. As you concentrate, you become aware of the feeling of your fingertips and the feeling of your leg beneath your fingertips. You become aware of the feeling of the material beneath your fingertips, and one of your fingers will now move slightly. It may be your index finger, your middle finger, or your thumb. One of your fingers will now move slightly, and that hand begins to feel light and relaxed. In fact, so light, it feels as if that hand will now begin rising and lifting and rising, relaxing itself right off of your leg, right off of your lap, right off of the chair, right into the air. The more you concentrate, the lighter your hand will seem, and you're concentrating perfectly. Rising and lifting and rising, relaxing itself right off of your lap. That's fine, further and further up with each and every easy breath you take. The more you concentrate, the lighter it seems, and you're concentrating perfectly. Again, as if there were a giant bouquet of helium balloons attached to your wrist. Rising and lifting and rising further and further up. As you concentrate, your hand moves further and further right toward the ceiling. That's fine. You're doing perfectly. In a moment, I'm going to touch your wrist. In a moment, I want you at home to imagine I'm touching your wrist and let it drop back limply and loosely into your lap. The moment I touch your wrist, relax every muscle as if it were made from a handful of loose rubber bands and relax it right back down into your lap. Relax now. Imagine I'm touching your wrist and it goes further and further down. That's fine. You're doing perfectly. Once you've learned this process more completely by simply practicing, you'll achieve the same results we have here in our studio. If you need more instruction on arm levitation and you need to master it more completely, just back us up and we'll go through it again. Otherwise, we'll continue with our final lesson in hypnosis. Again, before we do though, be sure you practice arm levitation. So, stop me, back me up if you need to review it again. Otherwise, practice arm levitation on your own right now. Once you've mastered that, we'll continue. The first thing you need to learn is how to completely relax. In this relaxed state of mind, body, and spirit, you're most responsive to suggestions. You go through a state similar to hypnosis twice a day, once as you awaken and once as you go to sleep. It's that point right before you sleep and right before you awaken, when you're in a state that we call theta, when your mind, body, and spirit are relaxed. Now, you can still hear what's going on around you. Your attention is simply focused in a specific direction or area. To teach you how to relax, I'm going to once again work with our lovely model, Cher. Cher, I want you to do exactly as I direct you to do, and you there at home do exactly as we do here in the studio. The first thing I want you to do is to extend your arms straight out in front of you. You do the same. Now take your thumb and put your thumb straight up, as if you were hypnotic hitchhiking. What I'm going to do is I'm going to grab a hold of Cher's thumb, just like that. Cher, I want you to relax your arm now. Let it go limp and loose, as if it were made from a handful of loose rubber bands. In a moment, I'm going to let it go. And when it's as relaxed as it possibly can be, I want you to simply say yes. Is it relaxed? Great. As I let go of the arm, it should drop as if it were a book falling from my hand straight down. That's fine. Notice how it does drop, as if it were made from a limp, wet rag right down into her lap. I want you to do the same thing at home. If you're by yourself, just stick one arm straight out in front of you. Grab your thumb with your opposite hand, or you can grab your wrist if you need to do that. Hold the hand into the air and begin to relax it. Let it become limp and loose and make sure that it's as relaxed as it can possibly be. That's it. As it's relaxed as completely as it can be, when you let it go, I want you to simply allow it to drop down into your lap. When you do it, it should drop into your lap like this. Again, as if I were letting go of a book and dropping it straight into my lap. Repeat this again. Extend your arms straight out in front of you. Grab a hold of your wrist or your thumb and relax your arm. Learn to relax your hand completely. Let it become limp and loose. Let it drop into your lap now. When you learn to relax your arm completely, you can learn to relax the rest of your body as well. So take the time right now to learn how to relax your arm completely. If there's someone near you that's viewing this video with you, it'll be a lot of fun for the two of you to take turns relaxing your arms. When you're done, come on back. And remember that as you relax your hand, you should also relax your shoulder, your arm, and all the muscles around that body part to allow you utmost relaxation. Stop the video right now And practice relaxing your arm. It's important. And when you're feeling comfortable with that part of the lesson, start the video up again, and we'll continue. Welcome back. You're doing perfectly. In our next lesson, I'm going to instruct you to take 3 deep breaths. With each breath, you're going to say these words out loud. Relaxing now. Take 1 deep breath and say the words relaxing now. Relaxing now. That's fine. Take the 2nd deep breath and you'll say again, relaxing now.
Relaxing now.
Take the 3rd deep breath and say the words relaxing now.
Relaxing now.
Now, by the 3rd breath, if not by the 4th, you're going to simply relax your eyelids. You're going to close them down. You're going to relax your body into a more comfortable position, and you're simply going to let go. Do exactly as I say. The moment I say go, take those 3 deep breaths and simply relax your body. Breathe in deeply and go.
Relaxing now.
Breathe in again and say the words, relaxing now. With each and every easy breath you take, allow your eyelids to now close down. Let your neck now go limp and loose as if it were made from a handful of loose rubber bands. Every muscle calmly, easily, and readily relaxing. That's fine. You're doing perfectly. Just sit back in your chair, Cher, sinking deeper and deeper, way down. As you relax in this fashion, the more you relax, the easier it'll get. In a moment, I'm going to count from 1 to 3. On the count of 3, you'll open your eyes. 1, 2, and 3. Open your eyes, sit up in your chair, and we'll repeat this again. This time, you at home are going to do the same thing. In a moment, I'm going to say the word go. The moment I say the word go, just as Cher is doing here in our studio, you're going to take 3 deep breaths. Between each breath, you're going to say the words, relaxing now. As you say relaxing now each time, you'll simply let go. Your eyelids will close down. Your body is going to relax, and you're simply going to let go. Breathe in deeply. Breathe out. Breathe in deeply, and go. As you breathe in deeply, your eyelids now begin to close. Your eyelids close down. Your body relaxes, limp and loose, as if it were made from a handful of loose rubber bands. That's fine. You're doing perfectly. Relax. Let it go. Close your eyelids down now. With each and every easy breath you take, your body relaxes and lets go. With each breath, let your body relax now. Relaxing deeply. That's fine. You're doing perfectly. In a moment, I'm going to count from 1 to 3. On the count of 3, you'll open your eyes, feeling fantastic in every way. On the count of 3, open your eyes, feeling fantastic in every way. 1, 2, and 3. Open your eyes now, sit up in your chair, take a long, deep breath. As you learn to relax each and every time you do, it'll become easier and easier. Again, in a moment, I'm going to say the word go. This time, you're going to repeat the process, except rather than saying the words out loud, you're going to simply think the words, relaxing now. You're going to breathe in deeply, and breathe out. You're going to think the words, relaxing now. And as you do, you're going to let your body become more limp and more loose. I'll do it one last time here with Cher in the studio. In a moment, I'm going to say the word go. The moment I do, you're going to simply say the words, relaxing now, inside of your mind. As you do, you're going to breathe deeply, you're going to let it go, and you're going to say the words, relaxing now, again. Each time you breathe in deeply and think those words, as if you were made from a handful of loose rubber bands, you'll let go. Breathe in deeply, and go. Think the words, relaxing now. As you do, your eyelids close down. Let your eyelids go. That's fine. You're doing perfectly. Relaxing now. Your body now completely relaxes and you let go. That's fine. Deeper and deeper. Way down. Allow your body to relax calmly and easily. peacefully. In a moment, I'm going to count from 1 to 3 again. And the moment I do, you'll open your eyes. Continue relaxing deeply until I say the number 3. 1, 2, and 3. Open your eyes now, feeling aware, wide awake. You're going to repeat that process once again, except this time, again, rather than saying the words out loud, you're simply going to think them to yourself. You may find your eyelids closing down more rapidly now. That's how they should respond. You should also find yourself relaxing more completely, because each and every time you respond in a given fashion to any circumstance, it becomes increasingly easier to respond in that fashion again. This time in your own mind, you're going to count from 1 to 3 of your own accord to bring yourself back to full awareness, as if I were talking to you. It would look like you were breathing deeply, saying relaxing now, going to that relaxed state, and then you'll simply think the words 1, 2, and 3, and open your eyes. We'll let Cher do it here on screen while you do it at home. Should you need to watch her and see what it looks like, it'll look something like this. Cher, in a moment, I'm going to say the word go. When I do, I want you to simply think the words relaxing now with each breath that you take, relaxing your body and letting go. Your body will stay relaxed for about 5 to 14 seconds, and then you're going to count mentally from 1 to 3 to bring yourself back out of that hypnotic relaxation. Get ready and go. Relaxing now. Relaxing now. That's fine. With each and every easy breath you take, just thinking those words. Relaxing now. Allow your body to go limp and loose. Relaxing now. Of your own accord, I want you in a few moments to simply think the words 1, 2, and 3. The moment you say the number 3, bring yourself back out of trance. That's fine. Once you've mastered the process of completely relaxing yourself at will, then you can use this process to put yourself into trance and can begin to program yourself with suggestions. It's important you learn each lesson in succession. So right now, take the time to practice again. Put yourself into trance by saying, relaxing now. After you put yourself into trance, count yourself back to full awareness by counting from 1 to 3. Continue doing that until you feel comfortable. Once again, put me on pause and come back once you've mastered that skill. Welcome back. I know you're doing perfectly. Thanks, Cher, for helping us out. We appreciate it. To understand how your mind works, I've created some rules of the mind. Understanding these rules will allow you to use your mind as the powerful tool it really is. Here are the rules of the mind. Rule number 1. What you expect, you tend to realize. What this means is your mind will move in the direction of its dominant thought. Those things which you think about most tend to happen. What you focus on expands. Have you ever noticed that as you were thinking about purchasing a new car, that everywhere you looked, it appeared as if everybody else was driving that vehicle? Your mind will move in the direction of its dominant thought, and what you expect, you tend to realize. Rule number 2. Imagination is more powerful than knowledge. What you believe is true for you. Albert Einstein said, imagination is more powerful than knowledge, and what he meant was, if a person believes something, it's more real than reality. It's true for them. So what you must first do is to learn to act as if what you want is already true, so you can attain that in your life. Rule number 3. Every thought or emotion has a psychosomatic reaction. That means worry thoughts can trigger changes in your stomach that can give you ulcers. When you're angry, it could stimulate your adrenal glands and cause your pupils to dilate or to give you goosebumps. Just the same as that when you get a hug from someone you love, it can make you feel warm on the inside. Psychosomatic means it's actually your mind causing your body temperature to increase. Psycho the mind, soma the body. Rule number 4, an idea programmed into the subconscious mind will remain until it's replaced by another idea. The longer an idea is affixed in the subconscious mind, the tougher it is for the critical or conscious mind in replacing it. This is how a habit is formed. We have mental and physical habits. To perform a physical habit, we must first form the mental habit. In other words, we must think before we can act. If we wish to change a physical habit or action, we must first change the mental habit or thought. Some people believe that cigarettes calm them down. This is a totally incorrect habit. Since nicotine is a stimulant, it couldn't possibly relax the nervous system. And yet, since most people associate smoking with pleasurable situations, such as dancing or socializing or dining, the cigarette has actually become a post-hypnotic suggestion, or what I call a mind trigger, to positive psychosomatic reactions within the body. The body actually produces enough endorphins to combat the power of the nicotine and to relax the nervous system. Rule number 5, the less the conscious effort, the more the subconscious mind will respond. There's really nothing such as pure willpower. If you've ever tried to go to sleep at night and you focused on sleeping, you realize that that was impossible. In fact, the more you focused on sleeping, the less you could sleep. The more you thought about going to sleep, the more you tossed and turned. The key in getting yourself to sleep at night is to allow yourself to focus on one thing, such as the incredible outcomes you want in your life. I promise you that you'll easily and readily drift into sleep when you focus on the positive things that you want. Rule number 6 is, each suggestion you accept allows greater acceptance of later suggestions. What that means is, small commitments lead to large commitments. That's why I've already taught you how to relax your body easily and readily. First with your arm, and then with the rest of your body. When you learn to relax in that progressive way, then you'll learn to relax even more completely and readily as you now accept these suggestions. Rule number 7, your body will produce what your mind believes. Listen to that again. Your body will produce what your mind believes. Extended emotional belief can actually cause physical changes. The more you focus on something, the more likely it is to show up in your body. That's what we call dis-ease or disease. When you focus on something, it tends to occur. I had a client in my hypnotherapy office who kept talking about his family and his job and that they were a pain in the neck. 5 years later, it was discovered that he had cancer in his neck. That's how powerful your mind really is. Rule number 8, we tend to move in the direction of our most dominant thoughts. I've said this earlier. Now, since you move in the direction of your dominant thought, your mind can only respond to the things you think about, and it responds most quickly and openly to suggestions that are similar to preceding suggestions. That which we seek, we do find. If you look for the bad in an individual or a situation, your perceptions of that quality will be heightened. When you look for the bad, that's what you'll find. And when you find the bad, it reinforces that previous thought structure and will move you further in that direction of those negative feelings about that person or that situation. Now, after you've learned to relax and you want to begin writing your own hypnotic suggestions, you need to follow a specific strategy for doing just that. You can use these to create mega impactful suggestions that will have the greatest impact upon your subconscious mind and will create within you an overwhelming desire to respond to those suggestions. Use the following formula to write your suggestions. Rule number 1 for forming a successful hypnotic suggestion is as follows. Use positive versus negative. When you're making suggestions, a positive suggestion would be, my breath smells fresh as a non-smoker. An incorrect or ineffective suggestion would be, my breath doesn't stink anymore. It's more powerful to say, I am slender and attractive. It's less empowering to say, I'm not fat. You see, it's impossible for your mind to respond to a suggestion going the opposite direction of what you want to go. In other words, it's impossible for your mind to perceive or conceive of a don't. When you program yourself to say, I don't overeat, all your mind can hear is overeat. Use a positive versus a negative. Rule number 2, use the present tense. It's more effective to say, I sleep easily at night. It's less effective to say, I'm going to sleep easily at night. You want your suggestions to be in the specific moment. You want to give a suggestion such as, I am a non-smoker, instead of saying, I'm going to become a non-smoker. You see, going to never happens. The present positive tense rules apply for effective suggestion making. Rule number 3, be simple. Treat your subconscious mind as if it were a bright child, as if it were operating on a 7-year-old level. I want you to realize that any verbose attempts at semantical effectiveness are bound to lose effect in the subconscious mind and only decrease their level of power of that suggestion. At the same time, keep in mind rule number 4, and that is create exciting, descriptive, emotional words such as empowering, dramatic, effective, and electrifying. These types of words create more emotional impact upon the subconscious mind. And since your subconscious mind is your feeling mind, it'll create more powerful suggestions for you to respond to. Rule number 5 is use affirmative action. Let the suggestion that you give to yourself describe an action instead of an aptitude. It's more effective to say, I speak clearly and with purpose. It's not as effective to say, I'm able to get my message across. One is an attitude, one is an aptitude. Rule number 6, focus your suggestions. Begin by choosing just one area of reprogramming. If you give yourself so many suggestions, it's impossible to focus. You'll lose all their effectiveness. When you hypnotize yourself to become a non-smoker, refrain from suggesting your golf game is better by 7 strokes, or that you're a better public speaker, or that you'll remember the names and faces of everybody you meet instantly, and you'll lose weight and become more powerful at work. What you want to do is to choose one area and describe the changes that you want to accomplish in that area. Once you reach that goal, that'll have a dramatic, positive impact on where you can go from there and the acceptance of additional suggestions as you continue on with your series. Rule number 7, use all the available details when you're writing suggestions for your programs. Research that area of development that you want to cover and allow it to include every attitude and behavior that you can find concerning that goal. As an example, to help a person who wants to become more effective as an entertainer, I'd create these types of suggestions. I'd say to them, you love to entertain. You enjoy being the center of attention. The lights trigger an energy within you and allow you to feel empowered. The more you perform, the better you get as you allow the audience's applause to empower you and make you more confident. You're totally at ease in front of the cameras or on stage. You are a better entertainer each and every easy breath you take. The next thing I want you to do is to realize that each and every time you make a goal, make it one that you can reach. So, rule number 8 is use attainable goals. Sometimes it's not appropriate to suggest perfection. To say you always plan your day exactly in advance is a tough goal for a mother who has 5 children, and it could only lead to frustration. You are always happy and excited might be a tough suggestion to accept, because sometimes those emotions certainly wouldn't be appropriate, such as at funerals or other somber occasions. I want you to use the words that suggest perfection, such as always and exactly, in goals that you are capable of reaching. An example might be, I always sit down when I eat. I always set down my eating utensil between bites. Unattainable goals will only lead to frustration and to a desire to go back to your old habits that never served you in the first place. Rule number 9, be exact. If you want to produce the result and it is measurable, such as a body weight or a golf score or a sales figure, use the exact amount of the weight, score, or sales figure. Your mind will go for what you direct it to go for. In fact, the best idea is to do what I call tasking yourself, or creating a greater resistance. Move a little further ahead than what you think you can really get to. That will allow your subconscious mind the ability to project you forward and to test you, to cause you to create greater results. Rule number 10, personalize it by suggesting your own personal change instead of the change of others. It's correct to say, I take full responsibility for my communication with others, both in the sending and in the receiving of ideas. It's incorrect or ineffective to say, other people listen to me and understand me. You can never control the actions or attitudes of other people. And in order for things to change, you must change. So when you program your own subconscious mind with these suggestions, suggest something of your own change rather than the change of others. Rule number 11, use a post-hypnotic suggestion. A post-hypnotic suggestion, or a mind trigger, is a word or a phrase that allows you to recall an entire suggestion instantly. What a post-hypnotic suggestion is like is the trigger on a gun that you loaded and packed with information, ideas, concepts, and emotion. And when you pull the trigger on the gun, it allows you to respond quickly to the suggestion that you've given yourself. The final rule, rule number 12, is that when you're programming for the use of a post-hypnotic suggestion, use the first person. When you're reading the program out loud before placing yourself in trance, speak in the first person, such as, I am confident. My message is interesting. I am unstoppable. And yet, when you're recording a cassette, use the second person delivery. Instead, say, you are confident. Your message is interesting. You are unstoppable. Using a cassette is actually what we call projected hypnosis, or hypnosis by another individual. Now, even though it's your own voice, you know you're putting yourself into that relaxed state. You know how your mind operates. You know that you must now use a second person by saying you easily and readily lose weight. You now know the rules for structuring successful hypnotic suggestions. Take the time to stop me right now and to write out a program that you can use to enhance your life. It should be approximately 8 to 10 minutes long when you read it out loud. After you've written your program, come on back, and I'll teach you the ingredients for producing a successful self-hypnosis audio cassette. To create your own audio cassette, welcome back. I'm going to teach you now how to create your own subconscious self-hypnosis audio cassettes. To create your cassette, the best kind of cassette to use is what we call a C45. That's 22.5 minutes per side. This length allows you ample opportunity to both write your program and also to record what we call your fractional induction. Step number 2 is to write out the specific program you're working on, be it weight loss or non-smoking, or prosperity, or speaking clearly and with confidence. When you write out your program, make it about 8 to 10 minutes long. When you write on a regular piece of paper, that'll be about 3 pages. Step number 3, leave 45 seconds of blank tape at the beginning of your recording. This will allow for any leader tape, as well as give you ample opportunity to get settled in as you listen to the tape later. Rule number 4, set your recording levels. Simply do a test. Record a few sentences and play it back later, and if it's at the proper volume, continue from there. Step number 5, record the fractional induction from your script. If you don't have the script, then call Sylver Enterprises at the phone number at the end of this video to get a copy for yourself. Rule number 6, continue with your personally pre-written program. That's the program that you wrote that was 8 to 10 minutes long regarding the area that you're working on right now. Rule number 7, at the end of your relaxation period, give yourself a 5-count removal of trance. That too is on the script that you got from Sylver Enterprises. It sounds something like this. On number 1, you feel relaxed and comfortable. On number 2, your body has a natural energy coursing through its veins. On number 3, you feel as if your body has been washed in a crystal clear brook and you feel fantastic. On number 4, your eyes and mind are being washed in that brook and you are seeing and thinking more clearly. On number 5, open your eyes, wide awake, fully aware. Number 5. Just a couple of things to think about as you make your own self-hypnosis audio cassettes. First of all, be good to yourself and be gentle on your own voice. The first time I heard my own voice, it didn't sound like me. And the first time you hear your own voice on audio cassette, it can be a little bit shocking. Trust me, you sound great. You sound wonderful. Also, when you're doing your program, be sure that it includes certain elements. The elements that you want it to include are a goal of what and how. Be specific. It should also include a section visualizing where you want yourself to actually be. Project yourself into the future and then be there. See it first to attain it now. And finally, a reinforcement section. Listen to your tape for approximately 21 days. It takes about that long to form a new habit and to affix it in your subconscious mind. As you progress, you're going to need to re-record your cassette to keep up with those wonderful goals that you're attaining. There you have it. You've learned to create psychosomatic response in your body with a pendulum. You've also learned to relax with arm levitation. You've learned how powerful your mind truly is in directing your body. You've also learned the process of self-hypnosis, how to put yourself into trance by simply thinking the words, relaxing now. You've learned to do a 5-count and a 3-count removal of trance as well. I also gave you the rules of how your mind operates and how to structure mega-impacted hypnotic suggestions. You now know how to create your own personal self-hypnosis audio cassettes to save yourself thousands of dollars and to truly get what you want. There's a big distinction in what people do in getting what they want and people who simply get by. The biggest distinction is they take action. Now, whether you take action right now on this process is up to you. Record your cassette, listen to it, live your life at its fullest. You are indeed a powerful, intelligent, wonderful human being, and you're certainly worthy of all the good things this life has to give you. For more information on how you can change your life and get more of what you want in the areas of your relationships, your personal well-being, and your wealth, as well as how to learn more about selling through the art of hypnosis, call us at Sylver Enterprises. Lastly, I leave you with this thought, and that is, may you live 10 years longer than I do, and I'm never going to die. Have a fantastic life, and happy hypnotics.